Loving God means striving not to dishonor Him. Loving God means asking that the beauty of His Son be celebrated among the people. These are signs of love. Don't assume that you're never supposed to think about anything else, and that if you become a little distracted, all is lost. I used to be tormented by this turmoil of thoughts. A little over 4 years ago, I came to realize by experience that thinking is not the same as mindfulness. I asked a wise man about this, and he affirmed my insight, which thrilled me. I hadn't been able to understand why. If the mind is one of the faculties of the soul, it is sometimes so restless. Thoughts fly around so fast that only God can anchor them. And when He does, we feel almost as if we were disconnected from the body. It was driving me crazy to see the faculties of my soul calmly absorbed in remembrance of God, while my thoughts, on the other hand, were wildly agitated. O beloved, bear in mind what anguish we have to suffer on this path through lack of knowing the truth. The trouble is that since we think all we have to do is concentrate our thoughts on you, we can't even conceive of how to ask the ones who know the truth about this, or comprehend how to frame the question in the first place. We suffer terrible trials because we do not understand ourselves. We worry about things that we think are bad, but which are actually good things. This lack of knowledge afflicts many people who practice prayer. They complain of interior trials, grow depressed, and their health declines. They may even abandon prayer altogether. These are people who have not learned to look inside themselves and discover the inner world there. Can we stop the stars from hurtling across the heavens? No. We cannot stop the mind either. Off it goes, and then we send all the faculties after it. We end up thinking we are lost and blaming ourselves for wasting precious time in the presence of God. But it could be that the soul is fully present with Him in the innermost chamber, while the mind stays on the periphery of the palace, grappling with 1,000 wild and dangerous creatures, and gaining real merit from this kind of struggle. The spirit of evil would like nothing better than for us to just give up at this point and abandon our spiritual practice. Don't lose heart. Trials and disturbances like these come mostly from not understanding ourselves. As I write this, by the way, I can't help but wonder what's going on inside my own head. Those noises I told about in the beginning are getting so loud that it's almost impossible for me to obey the order to write this. It sounds like there are a multitude of rushing rivers inside my head, their waters cascading downward, surrounded by many little birds and other whistling sounds. This is all unfolding not in the ears, but in the upper part of the head, where they say the higher part of the soul resides. I have spent long periods in these regions. The spirit seems to push its way upward with great power and speed. Please God that I remember to mention the reason for this when we get to later dwellings, because this is not quite the right place to go into it. I would not be surprised to find out that the Beloved has given me this trouble in my head, just so that I can understand all this better. The truth is, all this turmoil does not hinder my prayer or interfere with what I am trying to say. Instead, my soul is whole within its quietude, its love, its longing, and its clarity of consciousness. But if the higher part of the soul is in the upper part of the head, why isn't the soul disturbed by all that commotion? I don't know about that, but I do know that what I've been saying is true. When prayer is not accompanied by the suspension of the faculties, it hurts. When the faculties are suspended, we do not feel pain until they are engaged again. It would be a travesty to let this problem convince us to give up on prayer. It isn't good to let our thoughts disturb us or worry us at all. If they come from the spirit of evil, they'll pass. But if this misery is a part of our legacy from Adam's weakness and from our own imperfections, let us suffer it patiently for the love of God. After all, we put up with eating and sleeping and cannot avoid them, even though we might sometimes wish to. Let us acknowledge our misery. Let us yearn for that place where no one can scorn us. I'm thinking of the words the bride sang in the Song of Songs, and I see that they apply perfectly here. It seems to me that none of the contempt or tribulation we endure in this life can compare to those inner battles. If we find peace where we live, there is no conflict that can disquiet us. But if the cause of our strife is within ourselves, then no matter how much we desire relief from the thousands of trials of this world, and no matter how much the Beloved desires this tranquility for us, the results will be almost unbearably painful. And so, Beloved, please raise us to the place where the miseries that taunt the soul relent. God will free the soul from suffering when He delivers her into the final dwelling, even in this very lifetime. If it be His will, we shall explore this. These miseries do not torment everyone as badly as they afflicted me for so many years. I thought I had been a bad person, and it seems to me in retrospect that I was trying to get back at myself. Because the experience was so painful for me, I feel like I should share it in case it is like that for you, too. I will try describing it in a number of ways so that you will see that this kind of thing is unavoidable and should not overly disturb you. Just let that old mill go on clacking around and continue grinding your own flour. Don't let the will or the understanding stop working. Depending on our health and on the effects of time, this trouble will be more intense or less so. Even if it is not the poor soul's fault, she will suffer anyway. We will commit other errors altogether, so we might as well practice patience. Although we are continually advised in our reading and counseling not to pay too much attention to our thoughts, we do not seem to quite get it. So I don't think it's a waste of time for me to go into it more deeply and try to offer you some comfort. Of course, until the Beloved chooses to enlighten you, these words won't help much. Still, I think that His Majesty wishes we would do whatever it takes to understand ourselves. We need to quit blaming the soul for problems caused by a weak imagination, human nature, and the spirit of evil.